May is moving month. So we are going to be discussing some moving because that is what Chris is doing. The only thing that I have to say about it, I think, is before you start packing things, if you would consider going through and minimizing. Do you need 47 towels? Do you need, 38 sweaters? Do you need, just going through everything and determining what you really, really need to survive. And more than likely, you will cut your house in half and pack it up. And once you get there, you'll cut it in half again.
Yeah.
Because you'll figure out, wait, I don't really need this, and I don't need this, and I don't need that. And so, but Chris has some,
I have a few tips.
yeah.
Well, if you've been watching us for a while, you know that I had for years been filling garbage bags full of stuff to get rid of, and I got rid of a lot of things. Well, when I moved into my mom's house, I ended up getting rid of a lot more stuff. In fact, I had to have the vets come twice to pick up 2 batches of stuff that I was getting rid
The
of.
veterans.
Oh, yeah,
Yes,
sorry.
not the veterinarians.
Yeah.
The veterans.
Coming
Yes.
with the dogs. to
Yeah,
pick up
yeah.
veterans.
I was going, okay, where is this? I was thinking kitty litter. I wasn't sure where. Okay, go ahead.
Okay. Well, some of my moving tips are when you're packing, you can use garbage bags for a lot of your soft materials, just shove them in there and, clothes, whatever. Don't, when you move, it's not like you can just, take it and move it there and we're done. It's not, because I know this will drive a lot of people crazy who are very, things have to be right in their spot. It's not going to do that. When you move, everything's going to be chaos.
Yeah.
You just got to go with it. So throw that stuff in the garbage bag and take it with you.
I used to lay the clothes in the back seat of the car,
yeah, you can do that.
especially if you're not going that far, which she wasn't going quite that far. So
Towels, you can put towels and stuff in there.
Yep.
You can put your rugs, if you have little throw rugs, blankets, things like that.
and wrap it around the dishes and things like
And
that.
I was
yeah.
getting to that.
Oh,
But,
sorry.
No, that's okay.
Okay.
But also suitcases. There's no reason to move an empty suitcase.
Right.
Put stuff in there. Use pillows to cushion your breakables, and use towels and bedding and your clothing. Even you can cushion your unbreakable things. Your breakable things, not
Yes,
your unbreakable. And one thing that I always have done, and I've moved over 20 times in my life, is you take your important things yourself. Don't trust them to the moving people. Because I've had so many moving people, they break things, they lose things. The guys I used this last time, they were really good, and they didn't lose anything, they didn't break anything. But take your important things yourself, like jewelry, weapons, clothing, any family heirloom breakables, like if you have depression glass or something like that. Take those things yourself.
Right.
Anything you care about, take it yourself. Unless, like big furniture pieces, you can't, obviously.
right, right.
But you can supervise.
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
those are my little moving tips. And like I was saying, I got rid of a bunch more stuff when I got there because, in my case, moving in with my mom, we ended up, there'd be like 2 of everything because she'd have something and I'd have it too. And so we've got so much cleaning supplies now, I don't think we'll run out for the rest of my life.
Yeah,
So,
probably not. There you go.
so anyway, those are my tips for moving month.
Yes, yes, and like I said too, just minimizing before you go and pack all of that, and then think, well, when I get there, I'll minimize. Well, you need to set up house. You need to be focused. You need to be able to take care of business, and if you can minimize before that. But like I said, you'll probably get rid of 50% of everything before you leave, and 50% when you start moving in.
Well, and not only that, but you're paying your movers by the hour. So
Yeah.
the more stuff you have, the longer it's going to take.
Good point. Good
So-
point. Yeah, and so you can just use my brother's motto, which is, if in doubt, throw it out, and then you can consider also what would the price be to replace that item if I decide I want to replace it. Another thing is to obviously you're moving somewhere different, so you don't know, but your neighbors have things that you could, if you need a second crock pot for one thing that you're doing,
Like one party or something.
yeah, borrow it from a neighbor. don't put yourself out with all of those things, and you start running out of space. And it's taken me years to get that through my head. I told my girlfriend once, I said, I got to find a way to organize all this stuff. And she said, Crystal, you need to get rid of the stuff. And I was like, horrors, what a thought. What a thing to say.
And I find sometimes too, and maybe it's just me, but I find sometimes that unless someone says it to you, your mind doesn't even go there.
No, it
You know?
doesn't, until they've given you that thought.
Yeah.
But it took me another 5 years to think about it. I was so, people always ask me, will you organize my stuff? Will you organize my stuff? And it's like, let's talk about just getting rid of your stuff. My favorite is my girlfriend. I told this story before. She said, I found the best way to clean your junk drawer. She put everything into a paper sack on the counter and left it there, and somebody threw the paper sack away. Mm-hmm. She said the only thing she missed was the address book, but other than that, she didn't miss a thing. It was fine. Let it go. Yeah, so, if in doubt, dump them into boxes and put them in the garage, date them, look at them in 6 months and decide, did I ever go back to look for anything? I can say that I have 1 or 2 items, and the rest have stayed there. So, you really have to consider, do I really have to have all that stuff?
And another thing that people often suggest is turn your hangers backwards in the closet, and if the ones at the end of the year, the ones that are still backwards that you've never worn, get rid of them.
Yeah.
Because you're never going to wear
just
them.
let them go. Yeah, let them go. What I tend to do is because after I launder everything, I'll hang it in one spot, all of this other stuff here. I'll just, keep going through this, and maybe 1 or 2 things might make it into that, little choice pile, but not really. Yeah. So honestly, I don't know. Sometimes I think you could just go and take everything out of that closet and start over.
Yeah. Sometimes you want to.
Yeah, you do. It's like, that's fine. Just give it all away and we'll start over. Figure something out. People would love to follow me around because I have more stuff that I get rid of that people more than likely could use. And it just doesn't happen to be me. So,
That's
all
why
right.
Goodwill is so popular.
Yes. All right. So, as we say,
Take
take care of yourself because nobody else will. Well, thanks for tuning in.